I don't know. We're figuring it out.
So do you think that means there's 3 people on?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't hear anybody.
As you guys know, we're very tech savvy here. Don't hit the end button.
No, I'm not.
Bye. All right, I think we can go ahead and set it up. You gonna read?
I'm hoping so. No. Thank you. There we go.
You're fine. Hey, welcome to Better Breathers for July. This is LeAnn behind this giant podium that's totally blocking you. LeAnn just looks like a little floaty head. Oh. There's on it. Okay. So if we're recording this, recording you, I should probably be over to the side. So we're not blocking the screen at all. It's really glary too. I know Doug and Angie are at home just laughing at me making this video. My we need to close it. I don't even know if it's, I don't think they do. Can we zoom? Or I wonder if we just put it over. Why don't we put the computer facing that other screen? And
that screen over there? Okay.
Well, no, because then it'll be hard to hear her.
I was going to say, yeah, then it might, unless you want me to move over there.
How do I undo what I'm doing?
Yeah, let's do that because this thing is really blocking.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no other books that we can stack on top of.
No, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
When I was younger, so I made it really small.
Huh.
I did that thing to try to make it bigger. Oh, there we go.
I think I just need.
I don't know if that just makes it bigger for us or for
I
them.
think so, for us.
I don't think it does it for them.
All right,
It's annoying.
let's go this way.
You want me to stand up or?
It's up to you if you want to just talk from here.
Let's see if I'm sitting. I have my notes on my computer. That's why I have my computer here. Make a little.
No, I need to move the whole table. I think that's better. And there's a plug. Okay, we're ready. It's only 1:06.
I have to make my daughter at 1:30.
It's okay.
All right, you're already, it's recording you. You're live.
All right, hi. So I'm LeAnn Mora, and I will be presenting on healthy sleep today for the Better Breathers Club. I am one of the social workers here at St. Luke's, and I work at the Lifestyle Medicine Clinic, so I do lots of education around healthy sleep. So I'm excited to present today. All right.
And LeAnn, you could just talk to us because the camera can be really awkward.
Okay.
So just ignore that it's even there.
Okay, great. Okay.
You folks at home are important.
All right. Yeah, that's so let's start with why sleep is important. So as you can see here, it says sleep is important because the body needs time to rest and restore. So while there's still a lot of research out there on sleep, because it really kind of is this this thing that we don't know a whole lot about, but because our bodies tell us that we need sleep, that we're able to figure out, well, it's probably because we need time to rest and restore, right? So according to the National Sleep Foundation, sleep does play a vital role in good health and well-being throughout your life. So during sleep, your body is working to support healthy brain function and maintain your physical health. So we will discuss this further in upcoming slides when I outline the benefits of sleep. Okay. So the body has an internal clock called the circadian rhythm, and it sits right in the center of your brain, actually right behind your eyes. So daylight and sundown are very important to kind of regulating that circadian rhythm. So the body really does pay attention through what it's seeing to regulate that clock. And so when the sun rises, the body produces a hormone called cortisol that helps us get going for the day. And when the sun sets, that natural melatonin produces in your body to get you to that starting line of sleep. So really, when we're trying to regulate that circadian rhythm, it's important to make our environment what we call sleep friendly. So with summertime, it doesn't get dark until like 10 p.m. But a lot of us are, early birds, so we want to go to bed early so we can get up nice and early. And so we're having to really pay attention to our environment, closing those curtains, making our environment nice and dark or dim so we can have that natural melatonin start to produce. And I just realized that refrigerator is making a lot of noise. So when it went off, so I'm just going to close the door really quickly.
Good idea.
Because it will pop back on. I was like, I didn't even notice it until it went off. Okay. All right. So that's why I have these pictures of daylight and sunset. Because again, it helps us regulate that circadian rhythm in the body. Okay. So let's look at our built-in sleep controls. So as you can see here, this slide is very chaotic, but I just like to point out really quickly before we move on to the next one, is that you could see that the arrows on the top, that process S is our sleep drive, and on the bottom is process C, which is that circadian rhythm. And they're both working about at the same time throughout the day. So the cortisol is released. We're getting, energized because the sun is shining. The body is saying, okay, it's time to get up and get going. And but at the same time, we're building up what's called a sleep drive. So movement during the day is very, very important. Being sedentary is one of the worst things you could do for your overall health, which you've probably heard from, staff here, maybe even your primary care doctor, that sitting is the new smoking, and they truly, truly mean that. So movement is very, very important. And I'm going to show you that in this next slide that looks a little bit easier to look at. Okay, so I want you to picture your sleep pressure that you need to build up through the day to pressure that body to sleep as air inside of this balloon. So your sleep pressure is the air inside of this balloon. And the goal is to have a nice taut balloon when you get into bed at night, okay? So cortisol is released in the morning, you're opening those curtains, sunshine's coming in, you get moving, get up and get moving within about 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, okay? And if you have pain issues, take your time, it's fine. The biggest thing is we don't want you to linger in bed for 30 to 60 minutes. Is it still recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And we don't want you to linger in bed too long and thinking, oh, I can get a little bit more sleep, or I'm going to scroll on my phone. Get up, get moving. Very important to start building up that sleep pressure. So we get up, we get moving every day. We try to move at least every hour, get up and get a drink of water. When we retire, we tend to sit a lot more. When we're sitting behind a desk at work, we're sitting a lot more. So being very intentional about movement. You don't have to get out and take 2-mile walks. You don't have to, do anything that's, really rigorous. If you could get your heart rate up a little bit, of course, that's always great for your heart health. But building up that sleep pressure, very important for getting good sleep at night, because your body, when you get into bed, that nice top balloon, lots of sleep pressure, it's pressuring that body to sleep. And when we have good sleep pressure, we tend to sleep a little deeper through the night. We're not waking up as much. We're not getting up, to go to the bathroom as much. We're not tossing and turning as much because we're pressuring that body to sleep. So as you're sleeping, obviously that balloon is deflating, the sleep pressure is going down, and then you start the next day with the deflated balloon, start building up that sleep pressure again. Any questions about that so far? Okay. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of sleep. Well, we know that there's lots of great benefits because we know that the body will tell us when it's not getting enough sleep, right? We feel foggy, we feel lethargic, we're exhausted, our appetite changes when we don't get good sleep. So let's break it down with the most important benefits of sleep. And we're going to start with having a healthy heart. So according to the American Heart Association, getting enough quality sleep is an essential component of good heart health. When we sleep, our heart rate and blood pressure slows down, which reduces stress on the heart, allowing it to recover from strain that occurs during the day. So also when we have had restorative sleep, we're able to manage other areas of our health that also benefit our heart health. So very important to get good sleep for our heart, our overall heart health. Then we have improved mood. Sleep helps us regulate our emotions and better manage the physical and psychological effects of stress, thus helping us maintain healthy relationships with loved ones, colleagues, etc. Then we have improved cognition. So sleep influences our ability to recognize danger and threats and supports sound judgment, good decision making, and other executive functions. So research shows that sleeping on a complex problem improves a person's chance of solving it. So you know how people say, I'm going to sleep on it? It really does help when we take the time to get that restorative sleep and then be able to make better decisions the next day once we've had that restorative sleep, right? Okay.
I thought they were just procrastinating. No,
It could be that too. It could be that too. I'm just going to put that off until tomorrow.
I'm going to sleep on it.
Yeah.
That's what that would mean.
But really, yeah, sleeping on it just means that we're giving ourselves time to really be more clear-headed for the next day to make good decisions.
That's funny.
Right? I know. It also could be procrastination, absolutely. Yes. Okay. And then we have stress relief. So we're able to manage stressful situations easier when we have had quality sleep. We're less irritable. We're calmer in the face of stress. So good sleep really does help us manage all that stress that happens every day, right? Whether it's traffic or family stress or bills, whatever's going on, we're much better able to manage it when we've had good rest. And then we have weight management. One common hypothesis about the connection between weight and sleep involves how sleep affects appetite. So while we often think of appetite as simply a matter of stomach grumbling, it's actually controlled by neurotransmitters, which are chemical messengers that allow neurons, which are nerve cells, to communicate with one another. So the neurotransmitters, ghrelin and leptin, are thought to be central to appetite. So ghrelin promotes hunger and leptin contributes to feeling full. So the body naturally increases and decreases the levels of these neurotransmitters throughout the day, signaling the body to consume calories. So a lack of sleep may affect the body's regulation of these neurotransmitters. So just keeping an eye on that and keeping that in mind. And also when we don't get good sleep, we're not really motivated and we don't have the energy to do meal planning, to cook healthier meals, to make better decisions. It's much easier to just drive through Taco Bell or In-N-Out or to throw a frozen pizza in the oven because we're exhausted and we just want to eat and get it done, right? So we're able to have that energy to better meal planning and to make better choices with our foods, what we're putting in our mouths every day when we've had good sleep. All right, and the last one on that is immune function. So sleep supports immune function by allowing the body to fight off diseases and infections. So it is critical for overall health because the immune system helps heal wounds, wards off infections, and helps protect us from life-threatening illnesses. So sleep and the immune system have a bidirectional relationship. So immune response, like that caused by a viral infection, can affect sleep. So at the same time, consistent sleep strengthens the immune system, allowing for balanced and effective immune function. So when we sleep, our growth hormones are doing work. The brain is sending all kinds of signals to the body of where healing is needed. Lots of stuff is happening. The brain is actually very, very busy when we're sleeping. So really important to get good sleep so it can do all that work. Any questions about the benefits of sleep?
It's amazing to consider how if you miss, you have a bad night's sleep, the cascade of all of the issues that you're going to get.
Yes.
From that. It really affects the whole body.
It really does. It does. Sleep is so important, and we're learning more and more that we need to talk about it more, because as we have residents that come through lifestyle medicine, they're actually going, oh my gosh, so sleep is one of your pillars of health. That's amazing. I would have never thought about asking a patient about sleep. And so it's until the patient comes to the doctor and says, by the way, I haven't been sleeping for months or years. Is there anything that you can help me with that? And back, not even that long ago, the doctor would just write a prescription for Ambien or Trazodone, and here you go, this might help. But now we're taking it even a step further. So now doctors are starting to ask more about sleep instead of waiting for the patient to bring it up as an issue that they've had for a long, long time. And they're starting to send people for therapy instead of just writing a prescription. I have several patients who come into my office and will say, I've been on my Ambien for 10 years, and now my doctor's saying it's not good for me, and they're not going to keep prescribing it. And now I'm panicking because I can't sleep without my Ambien. And I say to them, yes, you can, but we have to get you to believe that. And so that's where I come in. Let's talk about cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Let's talk about how to do therapy and do treatment for sleep instead of just putting a Band-Aid on it with your Ambien, right? So I really have to try to convince people that, yes, you can sleep without your Ambien, but it's hard to convince people when they feel like, gosh, I've been on this for 10 years. I don't think I can. So we have to really do a lot of work now, right? But thankfully, doctors aren't just prescribing a pill anymore. They're actually talking to patients a little bit more about other options that are a little more healthier and not just a Band-Aid. Okay, that's my dog Maybelle, by the way. She loves to sleep. She sleeps all day. Okay.
Patient.
Yes. Okay. So it's no secret that having a chronic lung disease is going to affect our sleep, right? So we need to create the best possible scenario for sleep by starting with our environment, modifying the way we think about our sleep, and being open to trying something different that could improve our sleep. So basically, these are the three areas that we look at when we're doing cognitive behavioral therapy. So just breaking it down, our environment. When your space is sleep friendly, it can help put us in a better frame of mind. So, and then attitude, changing some of our unhealthy thoughts about sleep, and behaviors, bedtime routine, and ways to relax before bed, very important. So let's talk about each of these separately. So let's start with our environment. I pulled up a couple pictures, right? Some people literally go to bed in a room that looks like on the left, and some people are very comfortable with that. I can't even see the bed. I have to really look through all the stuff, and nothing wrong with that if that's what you're comfortable in, right? But imagine going into your room that's on the right. And of course, that's extra tidy, right? That's like a room off of HGTV. But just wanted you to see the stark contrast between the two rooms so you can see just how you feel when you look at those two different rooms. Like just focusing on the one on the left, how are you feeling? Are you feeling a little like, oh my goodness, that's a lot? And try to go to sleep in that. And then on the right, feels a little bit more like serenity, right? Bless you. Feels a little bit more serene. See that a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes a tidy space helps us feel a sense of calmness. Also, bless you, also cooler temperature, darkness, and even some white noise can be helpful. So white noise would include like a fan, a sound machine with maybe a soundscape or some soft music. Some people sleep with the TV on in the background. This is not the best choice for white noise for a couple of reasons. Volume changes sometimes with program versus commercials. So sometimes when a commercial comes on, then it gets louder. And there is what's happening on the screen, right? There's flashing lights that's coming off of shows and commercials. And so when we wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, or even just a shift to get a little more comfortable, if that TV's on in the background, lots of things flashing on a TV in a dark space can be a little jarring and re-engage us. And we don't want re-engagement. We don't want that adrenaline to be tapped into by any means. We don't want to get engaged into a show and then now we're not sleeping for the next hour because now we want to watch whatever's on the TV. So lots of times folks will tell me, LeAnn, I put on a show that I've seen a million times. I'm not even interested. It's just background noise. And I say, but it's not just that. It's that flashing light and it's the possible re-engagement if you wake up in the middle of the night. So having something else other than a television, like some sort of like soundscape or even just some soft music would probably be much more conducive to helping you get back to sleep if you do wake up in the middle of the night and getting to sleep much easier. So just being open to some changes is super important.
My husband really needs some sort of background sound.
Yes.
And he puts on the iPad, he types into YouTube, sleep music or sleep sounds, and then there's like dark screen sleep sounds.
Yes.
So it's not engaging.
Yes.
And it really does help.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. I have a hard time sleeping in the quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do the same thing. I put something on my phone that is like a calming sound. Or I put on a meditation, and just because they're always such a soothing voice, and I go to sleep to that. But the minute I put a show on, I know that I'm going to get engaged, right? Even if it's something that I've seen a million times. And I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night because I always wake up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom with that flashing on my screen to get re-engaged. So speaking from personal experiences, what I put into this is try to stay away from using the television or something on your iPad with a show on it. Okay, good. Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, so let's move on to those unhelpful thoughts. Okay, so unhelpful thoughts are really great at keeping us engaged in insomnia. Okay, because we tend to, when we start not sleeping well, we tend to panic a little bit. We panic about our health. We panic about have I lost my ability to sleep? And I'm here to tell you, you have not lost your ability to sleep. Insomnia is very normal for everybody. It happens. It's typically when a stressful life event comes up that we have a hiccup in our sleep and we start, having this, path of not sleeping well for several weeks or several months. It's really reminding us that, okay, don't panic, because the more we panic, the more we try to fix our sleep, right? We're trying to fix it. What do I need to do? And we start thinking, oh, okay, if I make my sleep environment more conducive, I'm going to go get a new bedspread. I'm going to clean up my room. I'm going to, get blackout curtains. I'm going to turn the temperature down. I'm going to do all the, oops, what happened? Oh, no. I'm going to do all the things. Okay, oh, wait. Maybe it just had a hiccup.
It fell asleep.
Okay, we'll give it a minute to reboot. So I have my notes here, so I'll keep talking while it's doing that. Okay. So we panic, and when we panic, we keep the insomnia going, and we don't want to do that. So remember, worry, fear, stress, anxiety is all going to add to our insomnia. It's going to keep it going because sleep and panic do not go together. So we want to make sure that we don't panic. And I'm trying not to panic right now.
You're doing great.
Trying to stay very calm as we pull this back up. Okay. So even fixing, our sleep environment and things like that, we think, oh, this is going to help me. And then when that doesn't work, we get frustrated. So we want to just remember calming all of this down is going to help us sleep better. So a lot of times folks say, well, if I don't get my 8 hours, I'm not going to be able to function. If I don't get good sleep, I'm going to have to cancel plans tomorrow. I remind people that first of all, a recommended 8 hours is an antiquated recommendation, okay? And so I want you to remember that right now, according to the National Sleep Foundation, it is anywhere from 7 to 9. And also there's some outliers of 6 and 10. So 6 hours, of sleep can be just fine for some people, and 10 hours is better for other people, and everything in between. So really just calming down and reminding yourself that even if you're just getting those 6 hours as opposed to a recommended 8 from back in the day, remember, listen to your body. That's the most important thing. How do I feel? And also remind yourself,
apologize.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Even on a night where you've only had a few hours of sleep, and even if it's several nights of just a few hours of sleep, you're still doing all the things. You're still working, you're still taking care of kids, you're still cleaning your house, you're still going grocery shopping. So remember that you're still living life, even if you're not sleeping well, okay? So the body is getting some restoration. You're probably doing it exhausted if you're having several nights of not sleeping well, but you're still doing life. So don't panic, okay? There's nothing wrong with you, and it is normal to have bouts of insomnia, okay? Any questions about that? Okay, so remember, don't panic if you're not sleeping well. Remember, those unhelpful thoughts are going to keep you awake. So when you get into bed at night and you start to panic, remember just to calm everything down. Remind yourself to just rest. Sometimes when we put pressure on ourselves to sleep, we don't sleep. Just remember, sleep effort equals being awake. So sometimes we have to say, I'm just going to lay here and I'm going to rest. I'm going to close my eyes and rest. Guess what happens? Your mind, your body, your nervous system all start to calm down and you drift off to sleep. It's amazing that when you can calm all this down, sleep happens, okay? All right, so now comes the behavioral part, and that is having a great wind down routine, and we'll talk about a morning routine in just a minute as well. So really preparing that body for sleep. Remember earlier in the slide presentation, I talked about, making your environment sleep friendly. In the summertime, it's still bright as it is right now at 10 o'clock at night. So closing those curtains, dimming those lights, turning off of those electronics. If you want to watch some TV at night for wind down, have the TV 6 feet away from you. That helps with that blue light that tends to, trigger, that circadian rhythm into, disarray a little bit. So we want to have that TV a little further away. And just remember, that's how we tap into that natural melatonin that produces in our body to get us to that starting line of sleep. So really having a good wind down routine kind of helps prepare us for bedtime. Okay, so about 30 to 60 minutes before your bedtime, and your bedtime should be when you're sleepy. A lot of times people go to bed because they're tired, they're exhausted, they're just done with the day, but then they lay in bed for an hour or two, tossing and turning. I've had people tell me they go to bed at 10 o'clock because that's when their partner goes to bed and they like to go to bed together, but their partner falls asleep in 5 minutes and they lay there and toss and turn till midnight. And I say, I love that idea that you like to go to bed together, but that's their bedtime. That's probably not your bedtime. So until you can kind of train your body to sleep a little closer to 10 o'clock, probably go to bed when you're actually sleepy. Eyes are heavy, head is drooping. now your body's telling you, I'm ready to go to sleep. So go get into bed closer to the time when you're sleepy. So about 30 to 60 minutes before that time, start preparing your home for sleep, closing those curtains, dimming those lights. If you have everything bright in the house and things are very active, that natural melatonin isn't going to produce. So we want to make sure we give our bodies the best opportunity for sleep. Okay, so a list of things that you can do in that hour. Calming and relaxing activities. These are examples of what people have told me that they do. Taking a warm bath or a warm shower, listening to that soft calming music, or bedtime meditation is great. Bedtime yoga or some light stretching, really good for the body. Doing maybe some crossword puzzles, word search. I tell people go to the Dollar Tree, spend $1.25 on some of those little books, so that way you don't have a screen, you have paper in front of you. That kind of helps us wind down. Journaling is great, some light reading. Really just, the journaling part is wonderful, even if you're just doing your to-do list. Because I don't know about you, but when I get into bed at night, oftentimes I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I don't forget to send out that link for group tomorrow. I hope I don't forget to do this. Oh my gosh, I need to make sure I do that. Oh, I need to stop at the store. I know I'm going to forget all this by morning. So really having time in that wind down time, writing down your to-do list for tomorrow so that's not on your brain at night when you're trying to sleep. I also keep a little Post-it pad and a pen on my nightstand because, I'm seeing lots of head shaking, yes. So I can, when it pops in my head, I'm like, okay, let me just write that down really quick. It'll be right there in the morning when I wake up. All right, any questions about wind down routine? Okay, let's look at wake up routine. So a wake up routine is just as important as a wind down routine. So getting up at the same time every day is super important. So if you don't have issues with sleep and your sleep schedule is working for you, don't mess with it. This is for people who have issues with their sleep schedule and their sleep is all over the place and fragmented. When we retire or on the weekends, our sleep kind of gets all over the place. We're taking naps, we're going to bed late, we're getting up early, we're sleeping in on some days, we're getting up early on other days, we're getting 2 hours here, 2 hours there. The body doesn't like all that inconsistency. The body likes nice consistency and nice good sleep schedule. Now, does it have to be like 10 p.m. in bed, 7 a.m. up every single day? No, but keep it somewhat consistent. Try to get up at about the same time every morning. Really good for us. If you are finding that you are having a hard time going to sleep at night, try to get up earlier in the day every single morning. Start building up that sleep pressure, and what will happen is you'll start to train your body to get on a better sleep schedule, pressuring that body to sleep at night. But it takes a minute to do a reset. So right now, if your sleep is all over the place and you're not sleeping well, you want to start with a wake-up time, a consistent wake-up time. That will help start building up that sleep pressure. Try to cut out naps. I always say naps are only for safety and for sanity. So safety, if you know you're going to get behind the wheel of a car and you might fall asleep on the way to your doctor's appointment, take that nap. Or if you feel like you're going to lose your mind, if you don't take that 30-minute nap, take the 30-minute nap. Try to keep naps under an hour. Cutting them out is best, but again, for sanity and safety, keep those in. Again, if you're having trouble sleeping at night, building up that sleep pressure is super important. If you're getting into bed and you're not sleeping or you're tossing and turning or you're waking up in the middle of the night tossing and turning, get up and guess what? Go back to, I guess I can't because it'll go forward. Go back to that list that we did under the wind down routine of having relaxing activities to do in another room. That helps us heal our relationship with our bed. Because if you're spending a lot of time in bed tossing and turning and fretting and getting frustrated and anxious and fearful, which happens when we're not sleeping, the bed is now cueing all of those negative emotions. So if we're doing all of that in bed, consider going in another room, turning on a dim light, doing a little crossword puzzle or doing a little light reading. Let yourself get kind of calmed down, get back into the right frame of mind, then go get back into bed. We want your bed to cue calmness, to cue serenity, to cue sleep, not all the negative stuff that's happening when you stay in bed with the tossing and turning and getting frustrated. Does that make sense? Okay. So great way to start your day is opening those curtains, drinking some water, maybe doing even a morning meditation, taking a short walk, maybe not today, but hopefully this fire stuff will get handled at some point in time. But really just even putting on a little uplifting music or a podcast, chatting with a loved one, really good way to start our day and get going. All right, this next slide has a lot of words on it. I apologize, but we'll move through it nice and slowly. All right, so first, maximizing sleep and comfort. People with respiratory issues often experience a drop in oxygen levels at night. So physical activity builds up your oxygen supply. So aim for 30 minutes of exercise a day, 3 times a week. Try to do some high energy activities, but nothing right before bed, nothing within a couple hours before bed. So really that's like for optimal health, right? Again, some movement throughout the day, super important 7 days a week. Try not to be sedentary. These streaming services that we have now with Netflix and HBO Max and all the things, we are so easily tied into sitting on our couch and watching several hours of TV. I'm guilty of it. I just discovered the morning show on Apple TV and I'm obsessed. And I found myself watching episode after episode, and these episodes are almost an hour long. And I was like, LeAnn, practice what you preach, get up, move, what are you doing? But it's so enticing and so good. Try to, again, just reiterating, going to bed at about the same time every night, even on the weekends, and getting up at the same time every morning. A sleep routine really does program your brain and that internal clock to relax at about the same time every evening. So really just adjusting to a new sleep schedule takes a minute, but it really is best for optimal health. So changes in your diet may also improve your sleep quality. So caffeine and caffeine products do keep you caffeine after noon. So try to stop at noon. It really is better for us. But, you know, some people love to have their soda or their iced tea with their dinner, but try to keep it earlier in the day. All right. And then when sleeping, try to lie on your side with a pillow between your legs and your head elevated with pillows. So keeping your back straight when you lie on your back with your head elevated, knees bent with a pillow under your knees. So sometimes when we're trying to get comfortable or having some of those respiratory issues, it is good to keep that head elevated. Do you ever give specific advice on that for sleeping and positioning?
Especially if they have any issues with GERD.
Yes.
Head elevated, even maybe put risers under the feet of the head of the bed to put yourself at an angle.
Love it.
Yeah, being flat is, the lungs don't like it and the GI tract doesn't like it.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's a win-win when you elevate it about 4 years ago.
An adjustable bed, yeah.
Adjustable beds are great.
Recently, and I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing what just a little elevation will do for you. Okay, good. And then,
just a couple inches. Yeah, that's all you
I
need.
know, so nice. Yeah. So your oxygen levels may drop at night and your breathing may slow down. So if you use an oxygen mask, wear it when you go to bed if directed by your physician. So that's just kind of a given, right? I had to include that because we are better breathers. It is hard to sleep on a full stomach, so don't eat really large meals right before bed. And I do have handouts, and one is GERD specifically, but it really does talk about foods to stay away from, especially for snacking. I say don't go to bed on an empty stomach if your stomach is growling, because that's hard to sleep when your stomach's growling, right? But we want to choose a snack that isn't going to cause that reflux and issues there. Okay, any questions about maximizing sleep and comfort? Okay. All right, so we do tend to panic when we have respiratory issues and difficulty with sleeping. So here's just a couple of relaxation techniques. I also have handouts on these. So we love to talk about square breathing at Lifestyle Medicine because it is the easiest go-to. Super easy to remember, and it also has a nice calming effect. And because it's only 4 seconds in, holding 4 seconds out, people with respiratory issues, it makes it a little bit more doable than that, 7 seconds in and then holding 5 and then 8 seconds out. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot even for me. So the square breathing really is a good one. And so really it's just that making a square, right? 4 seconds breathing in through the nose, holding 4, and then 4 seconds out through the mouth, and then holding another 4, okay? And then progressive relaxation, really good for just calming all the parts of the body down when we're trying to sleep. So these really do help calm down that nervous system and tap into that inner calmness. So really good techniques here that I have handouts for. You can find these so easily on YouTube. You can find these on Google, all over the internet, these techniques. Okay, so strategies to improve your sleep. So making sleep a priority, it is good to think about, what is sleep important enough to you to make those changes? It's not easy to make changes in general. And then to ask you to do something different with your sleep schedule, asking you to do something different in your routine is kind of a big deal. So you really have to just kind of think through, do I want to prioritize my sleep? Do I need to prioritize my sleep? Yes, and yes. But how many changes are we willing to make? How are we willing to do this? With what strategies? So we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in the next slide. So have a consistent wake time. I can't say that enough for consistency and increasing that movement. Again, important not to be sedentary. Okay, so let's look at this a little more closely on setting goals around our sleep. Okay, so goal number 1, prioritizing your sleep by aligning your goal with your values. So really thinking about, how does it affect my family? How does it affect my health? Does it affect me, going on a vacation? How does it affect me financially, right? So if we don't prioritize our sleep, we do tend to have more physical ailments, health ailments. So that's going to affect all of those areas, right? We can't go on vacation if we're having health issues. It, becomes an issue for my family because they worry about me, and financially, more doctor bills, more medications, right? So we just want to make sure that we're, figuring out, okay, how do we prioritize our health in relation to those values? And then again, I can't say this enough, having that consistent wake time, making the decision to get up at the same time every day, super important, even on the weekends. A lot of times people say, oh, I don't sleep well during the week, so on the weekends I sleep until noon. What that does is it keeps your body on that inconsistent sleep schedule, fragmented sleep all over the place, not great for our health. So think about what a good wake time is for you 7 days a week. And again, being a little flexible there. It doesn't have to be a hard time every morning, but fairly consistent. So, and having that morning routine. And then again, just moving more, getting up every hour, moving around, taking walks if you can, putzing around the house, right? Even vacuuming can get your heart rate up a little bit, right? I have probably 50 plants in my house because COVID hit, and that was something that just made me feel better, going and buying a plant. And I just went a little crazy. So I get lots of exercise walking around my house, watering every one of those plants. And I count those steps. I count that as movement. And your doctors and the doctors here at Lifestyle Medicine would say that counts too. So movement, okay? It doesn't have to be a huge deal.
How many steps a day minimum should you take?
You know, it just depends. Some doctors say that if you can get 5,000 steps, great. Other doctors say, oh, 10,000 is best, right? And so really, and building up to that, if 5,000 sounds like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of steps, you would be surprised at how quickly you can get to that by putzing around your house,
Yeah, you can.
right? Yes. Gardening, another great exercise and very good for our mental health because we're outside.
That's one of my favorite
Digging in the
things to do, is
dirt.
dig in the dirt.
Yes, so good for us.
Bees are buzzing everywhere.
You're pretty active, so you would be more of that 10,000 or plus.
I hit it occasionally,
Yeah.
yeah. If I jazzercise and then go take a walk.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, I
I'm
love the
good.
jazzercise.
Yeah.
Jazzercise sounds so much fun.
It's, that first half hour is brutal. And then
I
it's
bet.
stretches, and it's weights and it's a little more easy.
I
I
love
wait
that.
and they have the song that triggers the second half hour.
So
I'm like,
good. Yeah, yeah,
I'm about ready to walk out
Yeah.
3 times and just
yes,
put it up.
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't sound like it would be, but when you do
I
it,
know, when I think
It's a lot.
jazzercise, I think dance
well,
and
and
fun
it's
and
the city of
music.
Meridian, Parks and Rec.
Oh,
They
I love
have
that.
it out at home court. It's very reasonable on cost. It's 9:30
Wow.
every morning except Sunday.
Okay,
And it's a terrific group of people. They are the friendliest, most outgoing, welcoming group
okay.
I've ever encountered.
All right,
really.
you've heard it here,
Yeah.
folks. Jazzercise, the Meridian
Jazzercise.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
That's right.
9:30 every morning
home court.
at the home court. I love it. Okay, we've advertised it on YouTube.
Our
Let's do
next
it.
Better Breeders meeting is at Jazzercise.
That's right. We're all meeting at the Jazzercise home court.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, good. Okay. All right. So just thinking about setting those goals to make some changes, really important. Small changes are great. We never poo-poo on small changes. Really good stuff. All right. So further opportunities. If you feel like, oh my goodness, sleep really is a concern for me. I do feel like I haven't slept well in several weeks or several months. Please know that I also teach insomnia education. It is a free 1 hour, one and done class. I talk all about cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. I break it all down for you. And then talk about further opportunities for treatment in that class. So you just call our clinic at Lifestyle Medicine at the YMCA location at 706-9710, area code 208, and we can get you scheduled for that class.
Is the class in person at the
It's
Hill?
all virtual.
Virtual.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
all virtual on Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
Yeah, I think eventually we will offer it in person, especially when we open up a lifestyle medicine clinic at the downtown YMCA that they're getting ready to break ground on.
Yeah.
But of course, that's a couple years away, but we'll have like space to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Okay, my references are here. I love the book, Hello Sleep by Jade Wu. She's very reader friendly, talks all about insomnia, talks about hormones and how that affects our sleep, age, all the things. And then of course, the American Heart Association and National Sleep Foundation. And then I have handouts in all of those areas. So I've got sleep tips, insomnia education flyers, American Heart Association, how sleep affects our heart, GERD info, and those relaxation techniques that I talked about.
Okay.
All right, so any questions?
How do you feel about supplements like magnesium?
That's a really great question. I have heard really good things about magnesium helping with sleep, but whenever I get questions specifically about supplements or medications, I always refer back to the doctor. So yeah, ask the doctor, but I have heard
Yeah, no,
from
I
lots of
started taking
patients that magnesium
a couple, 3
helps.
months ago, and it's fantastic.
Great. What time of day do you take your magnesium?
Oh, let's see, we do our immune station. Since we got so sick, and you know it.
Yeah.
I go through all this stuff about, 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll take it all.
Nice.
And I'm usually asleep by 10.
Great.
But you know what? I do the naughty. I'm in bed with the TV, but I set the sleep timer to go off in 90 minutes.
And I'm glad you said that because people who do watch television at night and go to sleep to it, if it's not disrupting your sleep, then it's not an issue for you. Then it doesn't have to be a no-go for you, right?
You don't wake up and re-engage.
Yeah.
It's when it's an issue and affects your sleep, that's when you want to make the change. But if it's not affecting your sleep, then it's not an
Usually I
issue.
wake up and go, darn it, I missed the end of that show.
Yeah.
I never know how it goes.
Exactly, I know, but you got sleep.
That's right.
Okay, any questions online that are coming through?
Did you answer the one about the handouts,
Yeah,
Audrey?
Michelle had a question about the handouts, and I'm going to, I'll send them out.
Okay.
I'll put them on the email. Michelle or Kathleen, did either one of you have a question for LeAnn? I don't see anything else popping up into the chat. Michelle was more concerned about and nervous about GERD. She's post-transplant.
Okay.
So that makes her pretty nervous about that.
Yeah.
So we'll hand out the GERD handout for that. And for what I can say about GERD is making sure like the full belly before you go to bed, that's gonna, and if that's gonna push your diaphragm up and increase your risk for that aspiration. So you wanna make sure that you eat early enough to where you're like mostly digested. You don't wanna have that full belly and having your head elevated a little bit.
Helps a lot.
That helps a lot. Is there any other tips for GERD specifically that you can think of?
No, just again, if you're starving at night, you need a snack, make sure you're choosing the right snack that isn't going to make that, isn't going to trigger that GERD. Yeah,
Smart, yeah.
absolutely.
So no hot Cheetos.
So that's what, exactly, no hot Cheetos. So that's why I have the handout that I got from my registered dietitian over at Lifestyle Medicine
Yeah.
that has a list of snacks that won't trigger that, things to stay away from.
And isn't there a side of the body that you lay on that's better than the other? Like, is it better to sleep on the left side than the right side?
I've heard the left
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
I have heard that
I
from
heard
sleep
that too.
specialists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because your stomach is along that wall, it's not up.
Yeah, yeah,
Michelle says that she needs to eat her ice cream 2 hours before.
at least,
At least 2 hours. You heard it here, Michelle.
at least, yes.
Yeah. Excellent. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
That was a great presentation.
Oh, good. I know it, I know it.
Yeah. And then you just take
2 hours later, it's like, well, 2 hours.
I know,
And I
it's
do that
exhausting.
all the time.
Oh, I know, work can be so stressful
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I will email you all of the handouts.
Sounds good.
So that way you'll already have them in an email that you can forward on to folks.
Okay.
And I also have hard copies that I can give you as well.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Turn off the live. Bye, Kathleen and Michelle. Thank you for
Thank
tuning in. Oh, thank you, you guys.
Well, thank you very much.